If you're into Cartomancy, which is divination by method of card, this video is going to cover the 8 systems of divination via card in the world. I did a video most recently on tarot specifically, and tarot has 5 original systems. We're not talking decks, we're talking systems. Decks, there are hundreds of millions of decks. You know, some massive, huge number somewhere like that. We're not talking the actual deck. We're talking the original system. Tarot has 5 systems. So if you're interested in watching that video, I posted it. Now, this one is on all of the Cartomancy systems, tarot being number 1 of those 8. So we're going to have 8, and the very first one is tarot. Now, the second one, these are not in any chronological order at all. I'm not doing that kind of like historical time type of video. This is just mentioning them. So let's go with the second one. So this is Bilin, and this is French. And this is its own system. Now, I want to say something very important here. We're going to take a pause on showing you the 8. And I want to talk to you about the word oracle. In the spiritual niche, occult niche, esoteric niche, divination niche, whatever, right? You will find that the word oracle is used very flexibly to a lot of different cards, and it's very confusing. So let's talk about the first most important meaning in oracle with cards, in relation to cards. Not in relation to religion or theology or anything like that, but in reference to card divination. The word oracle, especially in modern day, is utilized by the card printing industry to subcategorize this big miscellaneous group of divination cards that are not tarot. And they are also not one of these systems. But stores and online shops and retailers will confuse them and just put them all as oracle decks. Oracle decks are, none of these are oracle decks. None. But some of them get printed with the word oracle on the cover of the box. That's because the word has changed in its meaning a lot with cards. So I'm going to do a video on, that subject where I get into the dichotomy of the cards and how these subgenres and spin-offs from tarot and how to categorize all of those things versus, oracle decks and what are they and how are they categorized that way and what makes them an oracle deck, all right? But in this particular case, if you see the word oracle next to one of these, it's not really an oracle deck. It is its own original cartomancy system, which will bring me to my third point. A video that I want to make is explaining, what makes them not an oracle deck and what makes these individually their own system. And I will talk about that at length later. Not in this video, probably. I won't be able to fit it. Now let's continue, now that you understand that, because Bilin will say Bilin oracle, but it's not really an oracle deck. It is its own cartomancy system. And now there are reprinting of decks based on this system, and the artwork and everything is changing, but they are reprints and spin-offs of the original system, all right? The next one is playing cards. And for those that say playing cards, well, that's not real, then you don't know history, because this has more to do with what tarot became. This has more to do with divination than any other card in the world, is what these are. This led to, if you are rich in history, this helped lead to tarot. So this is important. And this has continued to be a divination system that's very powerful and very strong and at the root of all cartomancy. So yes, playing cards. That's number 3. Number 4, this is the Sibilla Italiana Don't worry so much about the artwork itself, because the artwork is changes. Like I said, this is not a video about decks. If you're going to just plug in your brain, oh, it looks like that artwork and that picture, you're missing the point. This is a system. So decks and decks with all these different spin-offs get produced, but they are remakes of this, right? So this is, don't worry about the artwork, worry about the numbers, the system, the way it's called, the codes on the card. This is Sibilla Italiana. And this is, again, very, very important. Now, very popular, Lenormand, which can be called, Lenormand. They butcher the name, Lenormand, Lenormand, whatever. Lenormand, they call it. All right, so Lenormand, this is French, and this is very important as well. Major system, okay? Now, we have originated in Spain, but now it, of course, is many different Spanish-speaking countries have produced their own version, right? But it's still barajas. And these are, of course, originated in Spain. Now, there's different types of decks, and I could do videos on different collections of, different styles of artwork and things, and we can talk about the artwork and the development and the history and the printing, and who printed what in what country and what order and all of those things. But right now, it's just, paying attention to the actual system itself. All right, and finally we have, there's one more. But let me show you this one. This is, in German, you pronounce it Kipperkarten. So this is Kipper. This is the Kipper. Again, has many types of decks. And this is a German system. So we have, are there systems in Hungary? Were there systems in, Ireland? Were there systems? Yes. Those systems didn't grow large enough, to become a system worldwide. These did. So we're talking about the ones that pushed through, eras of time and continued and are still alive to this day, being printed and used by diviners on a daily basis. And that's what we're talking about. That's why these are the important 8 systems, and pretty much the systems that exist. Because if you can't get a print on it and you have to have, something that's 100 years old in a box, that's not a system. That's something that became something called obsolete, right? It's not living and breathing today, being used and printed. So these are the 8 systems. So if you read cards to tell fortunes, to tell divination, to tell people's futures or advice or anything spiritual, any kind of spiritual art, what you do, or you merge it with, some other kind of science or whatever it is that you do with cards on a spiritual level, these are the systems. Now, oracle decks, also very important, but they are not a system. They are oracle decks, which is that weird, quirky, genre that we're going to get into because they're pretty amazing. And they have their own unique twist and meaning and place. So it's number 1, tarot. Number 2, billing. Number 3, playing cards. Number 4, Sibilla Italiana. Number 5, Lenormand. Number 6, barajas. Number 7, Kipperkarten. And number 8, Carte di Ladagna. And those are Russian fortune-telling cards. That is, there are several Russian versions of these systems in Russia, of course, because they're going to print them in their native language. But the Russian fortune-telling cards on their own are a very important system, and they would come in at number 8. And they're in a unique category with their own history, but they are still a unique divination system by card that still has spin-offs and is still being practiced today. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. I do teach all of these systems if you want to learn them, and if you want a reading, you can reach me on the live stream, and you can buy a reading from my shop. My name is Lucy, and I have over 30 years of experience. Bye, guys. Thanks.